There are some Chinese individuals, not random individuals, the most courageous individuals in Chinese society who stood up for the values we believe in this country. Some of these people are in prison now. You're aware of that?
Yes, I understand that, Congressman.
All four of you are aware of that. Have any of the companies reached out to these families and asked whether you can be of any help to them?
Congressman, we have expressed our strong views on this subject to the Chinese government.
No, have you reached out to the family offering assistance?
We have expressed our condemnation of the persecution of this person. We have expressed our views to the Chinese government, and we believe the best way to engage this is a government-to-government issue.
Have you reached out to the family?
We have approached the Chinese government on this issue, and we look forward to working with the United States.
Have you reached out to the family of the people who are currently in prison?
Congressman, we believe the best way to address this issue is to focus
I can ask it 10 more times if you refuse to answer it. You are under oath. Have you reached out to the families?
We have not reached out to the families.
That was my question. Have you reached out to the families?
Congressman, to my knowledge, none of the people involved in the, I believe, 5 cases where Microsoft has removed access to MSN spaces in China, again, in response to a legally binding order, involved anyone being incarcerated. So I'm not aware of any families for us to reach out to.
Have the families been adversely affected?
Not to my knowledge.
Well, have you explored? Have you taken the trouble? You have done a lot of work to prepare for this hearing because you are under pressure now. You wish this hearing had never taken place. We all understand that. Have you reached out to the families that may have been adversely affected?
With respect to the blogger that whose content was taken down on December 30th, who uses the pseudonym Michael Anti, we returned his content to him because that was his intellectual property.
Have you reached out to his family and asked if you could be of some help? Because they may be under pressure.
Not to my knowledge.
Congressman, the best way we can honor the people...
I'm asking you a direct question. I don't want your philosophy. Have you reached out to the families that have been adversely affected?
Congressman?
Yes or no?
We don't offer a service that puts anyone in that situation, and the best way we can honor their situation is to ensure that we're not associated with a similar situation. We don't offer products that would put us in the position of putting people like that in danger.
We are not a service provider in China. We do not have information regarding individual users of the Internet. We do not track individual users of the Internet. We have no access to any information or any relationship with individual users of the Internet.
I've heard a great deal of legalese, so let me pose a couple of hypotheticals. If you operate in a country which discriminates against women, like Saudi Arabia, for instance, would you comply with government orders which would compel you to discriminate? What would be your judgment? Would you comply? Because I've now heard the word complying with the law ad nauseum and ad infinitum. If the local law compels you to discriminate between men and women, would your company do that?
What I can do is provide you with information about what we actually do in that respect in different countries of the world. Well, I don't know what is meant by discrimination. I'm not trying to parse legalistically.
I think you are the only human being in the room who doesn't know what the word discrimination.
Well, it means different things in different countries, and there are different standards.
I'm not sure how a country's laws would require us to discriminate against women in the services that we offer.
How about you, sir?
Congressman, if we conclude that restrictions either on our ability to provide services or our operations are so stringent, we will certainly, there are many things that we will refuse to do, and we would back out of that market. We have an anti-discrimination policy corporate-wide, so the answer would be no.
And that applies equally in every country?
Yes, sir.
Even in countries where there is discrimination against women?
Again, if the restrictions, the discriminatory restrictions are such that they adversely affect our ability to operate in that country or to provide our services to our customers, we would consider removing or backing away from that country.
That we've been very upfront about the fact that our compliance with Chinese law in this case has caused very serious consequences, and it's one that we look forward to trying to find a way to address as an industry.
Would you have come up with the new statement of principles had it not been for this congressional inquiry?
Is that directed
yes.
in terms of our new blogging principles?
Yeah.
Actually, we were very distressed by the takedown request that we felt compelled to comply with on December 30th of last year. And as a result of that takedown request, we launched an internal review of what our procedures were, what was in place in that instance, and what could we do to improve them. Hence, that was what drove the new policy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.